Hello folks, Scott Grove here. I figured after about, what has it been? 7, 8, 9, 10 years, however long I've been posting on YouTube, that I would actually share with you guys for the very first time, oddly enough, the actual sounds that I use live on stage. Okay, you're thinking, well, I've been hearing them forever. No, actually, every single tone that you've ever heard me ever use is tones that are strictly used for me to demonstrate guitars in the confines of this room. So they're set to be played at quiet, levels. No compressor. All I do is I use an outboard Boss CS3 compressor that stays on all the time. It never gets shut off. So through this entire video, it will not get shut off. And then I use my Morley PVO volume pedal. Other than that, I just use the J12 controller. So here's the junk here on the floor. Okay, so there's the volume pedal, there's the J12 controller, and of course you have, I've just got stuff just tossed around for now. The compressor setting way over there. There's the J12 controller for the amp. It's not a processor. All the processing is in the amp. So this here is just set up. I programmed each and every one of these 100 sounds I'm going to let you hear. I'm not going to play all 100 of them, but the ones I actually use. The amp comes with 100 presets, which all suck, and then 100 usable or user definable ones. And then I can make every switch, every pedal do what I want. If I want to actually have like a Fender 65 Fender Twin coming out the left speaker and a Marshall JCM 800 coming out the other speaker, I can do that and morph back and forth between the two using an expression pedal and go from one to the other, or go halfway in between and mic them both and have a clean and a distorted sound going at the exact same time, or whatever I want to do. So I put every effect anywhere I want it on here. Every single amp mode has an A and a B channel, however you want to set it up. If you want to be able to turn on different effects, you assign each effect and you program every single parameter into it. But again, you do that all via the amplifier, not here. This just finally ends up controlling the whole damn thing. So you have to be a mad scientist to learn how to operate the amps. Okay, so here's the amp I'll be playing through. This one I played through for since 98, I think, which is the one here on the bottom. I've got four or five of these particular ones. There's another one. Let's take a quick look. Okay, you can see the Johnson amp. These are not the same Johnson amplifiers that are made today. These were a division of Digitech out of Sandy, Utah, way back when. Okay, so these are not the little crappy Johnson amps you see today all over eBay. Whole different ball game. And there's your LCD screen, blah blah blah. Everything else, you can see your readouts over here. You can, what's cool is you can do everything in real time, which is what I did over the years. You change everything, hit store, and save your patches and name it later on break. But you can do everything while you're playing. And then hit store, which is way over on this end, and save your patches, name them, whatever. But anyway, there's another one. You can't see it. It's setting right on top of it. There's another one. You can see maybe the knobs right through there. And then, yeah, setting on top of that is the Millennium 250 amplifier head. And then I've got the 412 cabinet, so that's a 250 watt head version of it setting there all behind the keyboards. But I'm just going to play through the one amp down here that I use forever. Every single amp, I ran a MIDI cable from one to the other, and you just dump the entire thing there, and it sends the patches for the J12 controllers, which I have. There's another one sitting there, and there's one more behind it, and there's a few more out in the garage of these controllers. These were almost like $1,000 each just for the controllers back when. The amps were like $2,500, $2,800 new, and I can get them for like $300 or 400 bucks on eBay. Amazing, but people just don't know how to work them. Like I said, they were the first modeling amps out, and people didn't know what to think about them, and they were just ahead of their time, and therefore they fell by the wayside, and then Line 6 took over and has always built nothing but shit since day one. Okay, so it was the bad, horrible presets that come in the Johnson that just suck royally, really bad, that turned most people off from buying it. Plus they just didn't know what modeling technology was, and still to this day people think that modeling amps all have to sound like the shitty Line 6 amps. So that's why people stay away from these things. Okay, so I'm going to show you the sounds that I actually use on stage for the first time ever. Ooh, and remember, and again, every time I lick my fingers, I don't know why I keep doing this. I bought all kinds of picks to solve this problem. Is because I just try to keep my picks stuck to me, and most things picks I have found have not done the trick. Let's grab one of these which actually do the trick. So I'm quick licking. The star picks actually work. Okay, with that little hole cut out in the middle, so they actually stay with you. So therefore I don't have to gross you out licking so much. I just turn on all the girls on, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so anyway, so everything has more of everything on it. So you thought I used reverb before? Okay, in order to get reverb to a person's ear through a huge mix, you gotta double the reverb to make it sound like half the reverb. So therefore, when you thought I had a lot of reverb before, you're going to hear twice as much now, because these are my stage sounds. Okay, so why I haven't shown you these before, I don't know, but here's the way I have everything set up, and have had everything set up for many minutes. Okay, I'm still licking out of habit. Actually, I'm just going to use the old pick, since that's what I used when I created every damn thing, because picks do sound different from one to the other. Okay, so reason I'm going up at this goofy angle, I'm trying to get the camera down low enough to actually pick up a little bit of what the amp actually sounds like, since the amp's setting on the floor and not angled back, so therefore you don't just get a bunch of mud. Okay, so my typical sound, which I have called Dirty White Boy, is my name of the patch, is a 65 twin with just my choice of stuff, all, like I said, all programmed in here. So these are the sounds I actually use. Today I'm going to use what I normally use on most gigs, which are the James Burton signature Telecasters. Okay, this is what I take to pretty much every gig will be one of these. I have all of them, so it's one of these or basically nothing. Why don't you take your custom guitars? I'm actually afraid to take them out because they're just too damn cool, you know. But these are what I use, so check them out. Okay, so my typical clean sound is not exactly clean. It's kind of dirty, and is just this. This is the 2 position. I almost use the 2 position, meaning the middle and the back pickup, for almost everything. I will tell you if I'm not using that. And of course today, sporting once again the infamous guitarded shirt. Okay, so I know you don't want to even see my face. I'll just point this on down to the guitar, so that if I make any changes to anything, I can just show you what I'm changing. And one more adjustment, and 10 minutes later, and I'm actually going to make a sound. Okay, so my typical clean sound is about right here. You know, I always leave everything wide open on the guitar. I never turn anything down. Tones stay on 10, volume stays on 10. I use the volume pedal. That is my stage clean sound. That's what I use 99% of the time when I am playing clean with just reverb. It's got some dirt on it, just a little bit of overdrive, Okay, and I can slam more on there really easily with just the volume pedal. Okay, if I nail the volume pedal, then the dirt really creeps in, and it's just great. Compressor on the camera microphone is probably kicking in very hard because I wanted to use the same volumes that I use on stage so that I get the same tones. What it's going to do the actual recording of this, who the hell knows. But that's basically it. If I were to go to the 4 position and back off on the volume pedal a little bit and play more back towards the bridge like I always do. Great sounding thing. If I turn on one switch, okay, so Lukenbach, Texas. Sounds I use. Okay, I would add that particular delay in. Okay, back in the 2 position, if I was to go to the neck. And then I actually use this, like on Amanda by Waylon, you know, just get rid of the delay. Okay, I'm going to the solo. Let me get rid of that stupid delay again. I would actually turn on the tremolo, you know, and so that is the basic clean sound that I use for most everything. Okay, I'm going to concentrate mainly on the main patches I use, and we'll get to some other ones just for fun. This is what is called my boner tone. Okay, this is what I'll use for like at the end of the dance, and for anything that's a slow song where you need like the power ballad distortion sound with all the really cool effects on it. But I'm staying in the neck position, which is where I always play this thing at. I'll kick in the series S1 switch from parallel to series and make it nice and thick, and E minor. This is a killer tone, so hold your ears. using the volume pedal, what comes out really great, just playing along, is typical stuff there. Another one I like to use is what I call my Steel Cowboy, which is nothing more than my first tone, my Fender Twin sound, with a lot more reverb on it, and I typically will go to the 4 position and play steel guitar stuff. A lot on the old standard stuff. These are the sounds I use. Okay, so ballad time, major country time, that's where I'm at. The next one is my chicken picking sound. I called it Keith. Yep, Keith's Telly, not Keith Urban, but there was actually a guy one night that was just jamming on my amp. I gave him an open preset, said do what you want with, and he was in jamming for the night, and his name was Keith. So when he came back to jam, I always just had that saved for him, and when he left, I liked the patch and only had to tweak it ever so slightly, and I just left the patch on there, and he played a Telly and I was playing a Strat, and I just liked that patch, so I kept it, which automatically by default automatically comes on with a slapback. Okay, so that's on the bridge pickup, and cool sound. Okay, so that's what I'll use for most of my chicken picking stuff. The way I run it, full balls, I've got full reign over my tones and my sustain for days. My typical distortion is very heavy that I use. I've got a couple that are in between, which I'll show you of course, but here's my typical distortion, and when I use distortion I still keep it in the 2 position. I never use the bridge pickup by itself unless I'm playing a guitar with a humbucker, which is never. Okay, so not even my noise gate gets to stop this noise. Okay, so here is my typical distortion that I use for like almost everything. Okay, so this is just my go-to distortion sound. Okay, so that's typically my distortion sound. What else do I put on the distortion? Like I said, I've got all the effects waiting there to happen. I use some really heavy delays for just a couple songs. Very rarely. There's a chorus on too, a little bit of chorus. I never shut the chorus off on the distortion. It's always just too damn dry for me. Okay. For my delay, I use that. Pretty heavy. I told you everything is more. And it's mainly there for that purpose. I don't actually use the delay during solos, but it's just to end songs with, so I can end them like you just heard. The other thing with that particular patch that I have on there is I just hit the switch and it turns on one of the two expression pedals as a wah. So with that wah in there, so there you go. There's my basic first setup of things I use. Here's what I call my tremo verb, with tons of reverb on it, of course, for the ballad stuff that I like to use with a bunch of crunch. Okay, and that would be this sound. Reverb from hell, and that's the only thing I use that for. This is my greasy solo is what it's called. Just heavily affected. Again, this is for a country band, folks. Another one is just a really nice clean sound, cleaner than the others. I use this for more disco-y type of things. Not really disco-y, but funk. You know, just when I need that sound. Good, nice, basically just clean. And I use it for nothing more than just that. So it's a good go-to clean sound with just enough effect to kill you here, but like I said on stage, you need more of that than anything. Let's see. What else do I actually use on here? Oh, the tremo verb again, but with a lot less reverb and chilled down a little bit. Go to the neck position. Sundays and so forth. If you want to back down your volume at all, and then you can get that typical sound. So those are my kind of bluesy patches. Way down here at the bottom end, used to be a song, Edward McCain, I think it was, I'll Be. I don't even know how to play it, but I called the patch I'll Be Damned. Just a good chorus patch. Position. Okay, so just big and huge. Again, these are all full volume stage settings. What else do I use? Used to do a song called One Headlight, and I called the patch Headlights, but just cool sounding patch actually. Here's called Industrialized is the name of the patch. Very heavy sounding stuff here. Major stuff. Here's kind of a matchless amp sound with some verb in it, of course. Nice for the neck position sounds too. These, like on that matchless amp modeling, matchless amps do not have a mid-range control, so you know it automatically shuts off the mid-range control. You can't touch it on the amp, it won't do nothing, and all EQs are actually voiced to the correct frequency from the correct modeling amp that it's doing, so, or the actual amp. So if it's like a 3K highs on a particular amp, it will become 3K highs when you turn it on here. If it doesn't have a mid-range control, it eliminates the mid-range control. You can't even touch it, blah blah blah, and all the way down. Okay, more sounds that I actually use. Let's see. Oh, my Bohemian. Okay, this is just a envelope filter or an auto wah or a trigger, but yes, I use these. In case I'm doing the Edie Brickell New Bohemians thing, No, you do not have to be near your amp to do this. Just all attack controlled. The harder you play. The higher up it goes. there. It's just sensitivity. Now I took that sound and I did it with distortion, then added an octave below to it, and then another octave below to it, and did a few other things. And I used this actually for some solos on Mustang Sally. I call this particular version Puke Fest. It sounds like the same patch, but like it's puking all over the damn place. Okay, check it out. So it's the same sound, just with more shit on it. If I was to do the old Kiss song, what was it? You know, but you know, then you come straight out of that back into, you know, and then just like, and when you get really low, it's really cool. Just go down and do some percussive things. Help the drummer out when everything sinks way down low, gets swampy. Yes, I use this in country stuff, like I said. Cool stuff. Other things on here. This here, if you remember, Owner of a Lonely Heart. I actually call this patch, where is it? Where did I put it? It goes here, I think. That's the one. Okay. Button. Who's got the buttons? I call this one Sperm. Why? I don't know. It just sounds like that. But you'll recognize it if you're old enough to remember. Yes. That's the name of the band, yes. Anyway, Owner of a Lonely Heart is the good rhythm was. Then when it came time for the solo, I made up this cool reverse reverb patch. It's just. Using a volume pedal there, that is just sneaking in on its own. So I set, you know, the attack time to ease itself in, you know, just hours of programming, but the results over all the years are great. I have all these patches for these. If anybody ever wants them, I just send them to you on an email. It's such a small file, but hundreds of sounds. Okay, other patches that I use. That's another boner tone. This is something I just use here inside. Let's try to find something else. Okay, this here's kind of cool. This here's a wah-wah pedal that I programmed in that I don't have to be anywhere near my pedal board to use. I can, you know, be with my wireless and be running around. Okay, so I'm going to go away from my pedals, okay? But so that's an automatic wah that I programmed in. This here's a harmonizer that I programmed in E for some stuff I had to do. harmony is activated by one of my many, or my two, my many pedals over there. Okay, check that out. Is that delay from hell or what? That's why it's called the hell harmony. So normally the sound is this. If I want to add in the harmony, I have to use one of the expression pedals. Okay, so so another one that I would actually use, I call this one Snatchbox 20. That's right, Snatchbox 20. It's what I used for, oh, what the hell is, we did so many Snatchbox songs back when they were popular. Quite that heavy, but for the other one, that's what I use it for. Other patches that I made up, my Wet Puppies. I was in a band called the Mud Puppies for a while, so when I needed a really wet reverb sound, I went to the Wet Puppies patch. Just when you thought there wasn't any more reverb, you get it all. So much reverb everywhere. Let's see what else did I actually use. Here's something useless but fun. I called it Zarvon. Just a noise. Kind of a take of the other ones. Okay, so I was always a fan of the you know, mini Moogs and stuff, and whenever you don't have keyboard players, and then I finally learned or taught myself keyboards, but in the meantime I love those big fat synthesizer sounds. Okay, here's a patch I call Lesbian, mainly because it's after a Leslie speaker cabinet. People used to play guitars through Leslie organ cabinets. Okay, I'll turn on my actual Leslie, and you'll see via down here, in order to appreciate this, the pedal here, that it actually operates like a real Leslie. If you are at all familiar with what a Leslie pedal does, it has a rotor in it, two of them actually, one for the horn, one for the bottom speaker. It has a big thing in her. But it actually has to physically speed up and physically slow down, kind of like when you change speeds on a record player. It doesn't just go from 33 to 45 to 78 RPMs. They have to actually speed up to get to there. And Leslie speaker cabinets do the same thing. So I programmed this to do exactly that. See, after I take my foot off the pedal, it still has to slow down. So like organ, then you'll know that that is amazingly authentic right there. Okay, speaking of which, okay, of course the mainstream is what I call it, and I use this, a version of this on my little guitar review things, but this is actually for when I would play the song Main Street by Bob Seger, so I call it Mainstream, just to be a guitar player naming shit. Huge effects, but they cover up with the rest of the band. So you got to go huge to be heard. Okay, some other sounds that I would actually use. This is called Eddie Who. Eddie Van Halen, of course. So it's just his typical. Humbucker engaged or anything yet, but after you get to the I'll try to get it under control. It's been a long time since I used some of these. So that kind of thing. This one is a cool one. A couple of these I made up, again, just because I love sounds. Sounds, blowy sounds. Get out of here, Nigel. Okay, anyway, I call this one the Crystal Forest. Again, noises. This is not to be used for anything other than noise. Okay, here we go. Okay, so these are all new things that you've never heard before. I'm going to keep going through these. I might have to use a couple tapes. You just stop when you get bored, because I will never get bored of these. This one here, let's see. Here's the Acid Forest. It's already taken off without me. Kind of the same thing, but different. I'll just shut that off for now. The next one is called Sustainiac. Sustainiac, Sustainiac. No, not Michael Cimbello. This here was actually after the, remember when the Sustainiacs were big things on the Fernandez guitars right here. The battery powered active things that would keep your guitar ringing forever, kind of like the infamous EBow effect. If you guys don't know what it looks like, an EBow, it kind of looks like this. Actually, almost looks exactly like this stapler, which had a 9-volt battery in it, and you put it over top of your string and it would create a magnetic field that kept your string vibrating, and your note would go forever. It's supposed to be like an electronic bow, you know, so that you get the who's that some bitch that played for Zeppelin, Jimmy Page thing with the bow. You can see how much I care for these people. So, you know, of course I got a bow hanging right there with the violin, but it's easier just to hit a button, and then I got a major razor, I mean, hit you in the goddamn face, louder than shit sound, and this goes forever. And you talk about, I mean, just the most brutal guitar tone, and for real, along with this compressor and sustain forever, this bitch hurts when you play it, okay? And that's why I love to play it in the middle of your cheating heart, okay? I warn you, here it comes. I don't know what's going to do through this sensitive microphone on this camera, but... I mean, that is some heavy ass tone. A lot of people will agree that that is the coolest actual tone that I have. That is full blown raw Marshall JCM 800 maxed out with the Lee Jackson mods emulation, you know, because it's a modeling amp. So that's where that whole thing came from. But that, no matter what kind of guitar you play through it, that is going to sound bigger than shit. And I just had it straight on single coils in parallel, and so everything was as thin as it can be, and that is huge. Okay, so let's go to a few more things while I still have 10 minutes left on this tape. Okay, this here, there used to be a song called Sex and Candy, if you remember that. Again, I don't remember how to play it, and because it came and went so quick, but the patch is still called Sex with Randy. I'm just sick like that, but the patch just sounds like... Okay, so I don't remember what the song sounds like at all. Okay, so there was the patch I used for it. This is great. Okay, I call this my huge organ. Okay, again, I programmed what another keyboard type of sound, but I use the controller, or the pedals again. I change it from a third to a fourth, or is it a second to a third? We'll find out in a second, but check it out. This is just via me being goofy and locked up in or locked in a closed nightclub all night long with nothing to do. How great is that? I mean, that's just great stuff. You throw that in, if you don't have a keyboard player, by God, you're something, and people are looking around, they think you got shit taped. I'm just... my huge organ. I hope you enjoy my huge organ. Gargle puss, you don't want to hear that. I always thought it sounded like a cat with a hairball. So I call that gargle puss. Yeah, too much time on my hands. This one I call autopilot. It's just another automatic wah, but just with a different, tonal thing going on. A lot quicker. Another harmonizer. I think it was in C. Okay, it's an automatic thing. It's not even in the notes I'm playing. Okay, so it's a weird harmonizer thing. Let's see if there's anything else worth using. The super chorus, which is even more super than the other choruses, but this is the world's biggest chorus. Other things, oh, the Lost Souls. So this is my whale mating call. Okay, so if you ever need whale mating calls, I have them. Something called Mojo, what was it? This here has a Vox AC30 on the right hand side, a Marshall on the left hand side. You can't hear it, but it makes for a nice sound with the two models going. So you got the Marshall, like I said, and then the Vox AC30 on top of each other. The other things you hear are guitars ringing, no reverb. So it's kind of a really neat sound. This here's actually a stereo thing. You might be able to check it out because it's a stereo mic on the camera. Let me shut that back off and do it this way. Okay. I'll do one note. So it's just kind of going back and forth between the speaker, just going that way, regenerating, going that way. So I call it the Traveler. Another retro, let's see. Oh, Crimson and Clover, but it's the most awesomely disgusting sound you've ever heard. Check it out. Remember the old song? Crimson and Clover. The only way I could ever do it live was sit there and go, Crimson and Clover, beating the shit out of your Adam's apple. But it worked when you didn't have a sound man, so that's just a looping thing. A patch called In the Toilet, which it sounds like, but it's a cool mid-rangey. How's that? Sounds like you're actually playing in a bathroom somewhere. Okay. Okay, I'm going to switch tapes and we're going to keep on keeping on with some more patches for anybody who wants to just sit here and listen to all this shit. Okay, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. Alright, back here for round 2 of some more patches that I've created. All these I've created on the Johnson. Again, remember, it's a modeling amp, so you're doing different amplifier models. This is just not me coming up with a bunch of effects. I mean, this thing does like 40 different amplifiers and does them to a T. But I did all these patches to suit whatever I had to do on the road and different things. And these are just all the sounds that you have never heard in all this time. And it's just a little look into my little sad life, if you guys are actually interested at all. If you're still here, cool. I love the fact that you stick around. I really do. I can't thank you guys enough for actually always hanging around with me. That's just cool of you. You know, it's just friends hanging out, I think. This one I call Peanut Butter. For what reason? None. No other reason than I think maybe the dog was near me, so I, for some reason, thought of peanut butter. It's nothing pretty. So no effects. No, I'm teasing. Okay, next one, I call it Spread and Ready. Okay, spread and ready whenever you want it. Okay, I'm still thinking of peanut butter for some reason, but this thing is huge, and actually I have just one button I hit, and then the whole amp actually will go into a stereo mode, so everything is panned right and left. And this one really records cool because it throws different octaves on opposite sides of the, you know, the audio spectrum that, you know, so it just puts it in different places in the recordings. So here's it. It's just huge. Okay, so now you can kind of see why I'm always so big on sustain. So I leave the compressor just wide open on all the time, so it just sits in the back of my rack. These are just extra compressors I have for here in the room for teaching y'all stuff and backups and everything. Always have a backup. Always have an identical backup. That's why I carry so many amps that are already ready to go, that if one goes down, the other one comes in, and all the effects are exactly the same. All the speakers are exactly the same. Nothing changes. You know, like I got like 10 of these volume pedals already modded and ready to roll. Okay, this one here, a few people have been waiting to hear this. Very interesting and very just out there. Okay, so this is nothing but compressors. Okay, so I have the Boss compressor ran wide open, and then I've got like 6 more compressors in the amp. I just chose a compressor as each effect. Like you pick from whatever effect you want and control every parameter, every single thing, how loud, just every possible bit of anything that you can control on any effect. But anyway, I turned every compressor on, and they're all on wide open and squeezed as much as I can. So there are actually 7 compressors here going all at once total. So 6 inside the amp, 1 outboard one, and I call this one Spanky. There's no reason to use this, but here's what it sounds like with 7 compressors all going at the same time. Now if I have to go play lead, you'll be able to hear this stuff. Okay, so all the popping noises you would expect from that many compressors. So there you go, there's the infamous Spanky. This other. Just sucking everything down. Okay, what's this one? This is sewer gas. That's what I used to call my farts. But it sounds like sewer gas. It's just what I thought of when I heard it. Okay, I made it up and it's like, gotta keep it just to do it. Sewer gas. Okay, this is called razor face. It just sounds like somebody cutting your flipping face off with a razor, but using guitar tone, or lack of tone, I should say. Godfrey's voice is, I guess. This one is called Too Fucking Much, which is exactly what it is. If the microphone has picked up from its compression level. No reverb, nothing. It's just as much gain as you can get. Well, actually, I'll show you more gain in a bit, but it's useless gain. Let's go to, oh, that's my space shit. Here's what's called a mind warp. It's actually the speakers are out of phase with each other. Okay, so I actually, they are out of phase. Check it out. It's just the sound you get. So, one speaker's in phase, one's the other way. If you're right here and you can actually hear this thing in stereo, it's crazy. Let's see, Spooky Tooth. Another thing with a bunch of octaves, but it's just clean. Some of you people don't know what the hell a Spooky Tooth is, but... It's fun. Call this one Honk Honk. I just use it when on the old Huey Lewis. New York, New York is everything they say, and no place I'd rather be. Or the I just use it for the honk sound. So on that song, Harder Rock and Roll. Yeah, that's what the sound I would actually use the whole patch. Just a good rock sound. Another Marshall emulated thing. Good and dry. You're not used to hearing dry from me. Just another chorus with the thing in the amplifier. Oh, the old power ballad sound. Okay, what was it? Say? If I even used it on the neck pickup, it might even sound cooler and go to a different key. Let's see. Oh, Sherry, I love. That's just bouncing back and forth between two speakers. Left, right, left, right, left, right. The mask. I call this one the mask. It's more of that noisy, weird stuff. Fun stuff. This here's Go West, young man. Not West, West, like West Montgomery. Again, another one of those sounds. I know it has nothing to do with West Montgomery other than octaves, but this is my cool wave. That's what I call it, but it is what it is. One of those reverbs. Okay, Scott with the reverb from hell. Okay, you thought I had reverb even earlier, before. Here's the most reverb you can have. How much more reverb can you get? None. None more reverb. Why do I call this twang? Probably for that, and still a lot of reverb, but like I said, gotta use a lot to get it through there. So with no overdrive at all, and they're just clean as total can get. So probably meant for more country ballad type of stuff. I would highly imagine is what I used it for. Sounding guitar. Just check it from there. Just put on your headphones and enjoy how thick this is. Especially coming from an open back 212 Celestion. Well, they got the 30s in them. That's what it comes. Oh, this is what I call. It's another pedal-oriented thing that I put on here on one of my pedals. I call this my B bender, of course, and lots lots of reverb. So I'm taking the whole chord and bending it. If you look at the guitar, E, now down to D. So I could take the whole guitar and just in E, take the whole thing and go down to D. Some cool stuff, especially when you're doing like Ghost Riders in the sky, something like that. I'm leaving it here because I have other bender stuff that I put right here. Check these out. Other things, let's see. I know there's other benders. Oh, the sweet bender, I call it. Any other benders right there? No, one more bender for you since we're here with distortion on it. So just great shit, man. That's just totally great shit, period. That is what it is. Did I mention that's great shit? Okay. What is my other stuff? Oh, Rosie Palmer. Just the name of another distortion patch. I don't even remember which is actually supposed to be for some Robert Palmer, The Addicted to Love, and Simply Irresistible, and all that stuff, but that was the patch I used. So instead of Robert Palmer, I just called it Rosie Palmer. And who would know that later on I would marry a lady named Rosie right now. And she's so pure of heart, believe it or not, that she has still to this, she won't believe me when I tell her what Rosie Palmer actually means. I told her about the, it's just you and me again tonight, Rosie. And she won't believe me that it's about what it's about, but she goes, it is now. It's like, she goes like, don't correct me. It's like, okay, you believe what it is, but what you think it is, but what a cute wife I have. Okay, just great. Song there was Dark Light by Ace Frehley on Kiss's The Elder album. Just kind of snuck in for anybody who gives a rat's ass what that was. This one's called Smells Like Fish. Just the same, actually just the same thing, it's just right next to it but with chorus on it. So the one before this, actually, the Rosie Palmer, is really good for the old 80s. All that kind of typical junk. The Big Stank, what is that? Is it a double compressor was what that one was. Not many more to go through here. This is my dirty Vox AC30 top boost. Okay, I usually went to the neck for this. Okay, so this here is really pure, but you know, it's got the reverb, but it's a great blues sound as a AC30 top boost would be. Next, this here, I actually mentioned this at one point recently for some reason. I can't remember what it was for. I'm sure it was one of my Nigel things, but this patch is actually called Rectum Fire. Yep, because this is a rectifier amplifier. So the, of course, you had to call it the Rectum Fire, and so here it is. But great sound. Oh, this was Disease for the Matchbox 20 Disease. I don't remember how to play it either, it's been a while. Apparently it had a lot of flanger on it. So some of these just left over from old songs that I don't do anymore. This here's called Alive, is what of course I name all these. This was from Love Will Keep Us Alive by the Eagles, and this has been since '97 since I played this song. I don't even remember how it goes, but this was the patch I used. I think it was in D. So yeah, it's not chorus. That is not chorus on there. Those are from the whammy section. Since Johnson Amplifiers was a division of Digitech and they invented the whammy pedals, those are just detuned modes of the whammy pedal. So I'm actually using 3 different pitches there. Just 1% cent above pitch, 1 cent below pitch, and then perfect pitch, of course. So I'm using out of the right side one that's detuned by 1 cent, left side tuned sharp by 1 cent, and then straight up in the middle is my guitar that is unprocessed. So that's actually what that is, to make it sound like a chorus, but it's not chorus. So oh, the Blues Jam is just another loop thing. I think just had a typical like everybody else. Damn. What the hell? You've all heard those before. Stereo A thirds. So another stereo thing in the key of A using thirds. So you gotta be very careful when you're using thirds. My Screaming Woman sound. Can't remember how I used to set it in order to make it sound like a screaming woman. No, have to explore it. This here's called E, the letter E, then enormous. That's meaning I'm supposed to be playing in the key of E. What do we got here? Oh, my Gothic fuzz. Fuzz, but with lots of, I just loved all the different octave dividers on here. That adds another octave below. Take that back off. Take another one off. Here's a flanger with it. Crazy shit, people. Pluto 10. Oh, okay, I remember what this was. Just to try to be pretty. You gotta remember the time of the decade I was in. Upper octaves, you know, on the harmonizer, kind of seeping through to make it pretty and airy. This was just my crybaby patch. But again, with tons of reverb. So, the next patch was something else we've already heard. Oh, my Delightful. That's what's called, the letter D. Delightful. Everything's just tuned down a whole step for you. So, play in the key of E. So, everything's already in D for you. So, the whole guitar is just tuned down a half step, or I mean a whole step. The boost that I have in on it. You'll hear a slight bit of very fast tremolo there. playing country. That's another wah-wah. This here's just my fuzz. Okay, this is about the end of it, so no more to hear. Everybody has to have some good fuzz. Another octave on there if you need it. Throw it on this pickup over here. Other than that, you're only going to get into maybe, what else was fun? That one. It's called Too Heavy. You've heard me use this before. This is for the just the drop tunings. I'll shut up so the neighbors can sleep. It's like 4 in the morning or some bullshit here. So once again, Scott Grove here with the Johnson Millennium JM150 modeling amp that I use for everything and have for a long time and will for the rest of my life. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of these around. And if anybody ever wants the patches for them and you have one or are going to buy one, I just give you the patches. You download them in a matter of like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then you upload it to your amp, which takes about a minute if you have the right things. You need the oh, what was the patch? I have to find out. Actually, I blew up that computer that had the. I've got it on a few other things though, so we can do it. I'll show you the cables you need and the whatever patch it is you have to upload it with. But if you're interested and you have a JM150 or JM250 and you want all my patches, let me know. I'll send them to you. Okay, again, just sitting here playing with sounds and showing you the ones that I actually use on stage, not the ones that I use here to demonstrate guitars. So why don't I normally use these? Because I just don't want to have to drag out the volume pedals and the other crap and turn it all up so damn loud like I do on stage. So the amp is actually here halfway up, you know, so it's a 150 watt amp turned on 5 here in the room when everybody's trying to sleep in the neighborhood, and our houses are like this, well, maybe about enough just for you to walk between them. So I'm sure the cops should be here anytime. But what the hell, you know, it's all in the name of just sitting here and spanking the monkey, you know, there's nothing else to do this time of night. So hope you enjoyed it, or at least found it amusing or just slightly interesting, since everything else was repeats on Leno and Letterman this week, so it gives you something to watch. Okay, so later, make as much noise as you can. Bye.